Verse 31. And I will set your border from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the Euphrates. For I'll give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. Okay? This is now what God is then ultimately as well saying. He is, the borders. He's setting out these borders now. The borders from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, which would be the Mediterranean on the west, southwest, wilderness Euphrates, that's the wilderness is on the east, and Euphrates on the north. This is now the size of the land that God is going to give them. A general outline of the furthest reaches of this land. And yes, under Solomon, this is what they're going to have. But this is so God's stating the size of the land that they're going to give, the borders of this land, and as well that He is God's going to drive out His inhabitants, and so He will give them into their hands, and they are going to drive them out, right? Because they're going to grow. They will grow in the knowledge of what it means to be serving in the army of God, ultimately to be soldiers. And as they grow in that knowledge, because little by little God is giving them skirmishes so they can get it's like going to the gym every day, or jogging. You're not going to start jogging 10 kilometers in one day. You will take it little by little, build up till you can do it. The same kind of thing here. So they grow in their knowledge and skills of how to be soldiers, and then they ultimately when then start taking part as well and driving these people out. Again, this is how in our Christian lives as well we're supposed to. We need to understand that Christians are people, brothers in Christ, in a different spiritual level, and some of them is not going to be preachers today because they just converted. You can't ask them like they do in Russia to then immediately start preaching. That's not how it's supposed to be done, right? They need to grow in their knowledge and their understanding so that ultimately they can do it. And so we always need to take that into account when we ask people in church to do things. Let them grow so that they can little by little grow in their understanding of who God is, and so that ultimately, yes, they can grow into a soldier of God, and in their own personal lives as well, in their fight against sins and all those kinds of things. Don't expect people to be perfect one day. God is busy in the process with them, and it is ultimately a process, like it was here for them. Verse 32, you shall make no covenant with them and their gods. Okay, they're not supposed to make any covenant. There's going to be one group that's going to lie to them basically, and then they're going to make a covenant with them, but the whole point is they're not supposed to, because you're in a covenant, then you need to keep your word. Okay, this is like getting married to a non-Christian woman if you're a Christian. Like, can I get married to a non-Christian woman or a non-Christian guy? Well, you're not supposed to make a covenant with them. That is marriage, right? No, you're not supposed to. It's stated in the New Testament as well, not just here. New, old, no. That is why they're not supposed to get married to people from other religions, because that means they're making a covenant with them, and they were not supposed to make covenants with any of them. That's just plain simple. Not make covenant. This is not. This is not even a question of like now they need to go to a temple or anything like that. To this religious temple or anything like that. This is a question of. This is more a question of giving their word that they will like protect them, or they'll do nothing against them, or that they will. Yes, you are over there. I'm over here, and that's fine. Kind of idea. No covenant with them. Don't live under the same roof. Verse 33, they shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you. Okay, so here doesn't state that you need to massacre them all. No, you will replace them ultimately. You will drive them out. Right? Because of their sin, they deserve to be driven out. Okay? And if you don't do that, then they're going to make you sin against me. And that's going to happen because they didn't drive them out. They're going to sin because of these people. If you serve their gods, and that's going to happen. They're going to serve their gods because on a family level, yes, why can't we serve their gods, right? That was their thinking. And they did. And God said, no, they're not supposed to do this. And then if they do that, then God's going to be a snare to them. God is not going to be an enemy to their enemies, an adversary to their adversaries. No, God's going to be a snare to them. right? That is not just not going driven out. God is going to actively snare. Let's trap the animals. And then what's the point of snaring them? That's killing them. So they will be the ones to suffer. So they have the choice. Either they do listen to God and worship God and God alone, or they don't listen to God and obey Him. And then they will end up being God being an enemy to them, as is going to happen. In the days of Jeremiah, the final destruction and the destruction of the temple. Okay, so yeah, the sea, that, well, I mean, Indian Ocean, ultimately. Ultimately, yes. So I'm going in 2 days' time just to the opposite of here, opposite part, just the opposite side of the ocean. Yeah, it's just a pity. I mean, you can reach. I can walk from here to Cape Town, but because of all the wars, especially in Africa, unluckily, you can't take a train or a bus or anything like that. You need to get in the air up there. Go on. Well, that is that for now. I will do still the conclusion part, but most likely a different place.